and the Al Qaeda organization. We've never.
So, basically, Chris, do you have any opinion on that? Because there's two things that I want to get into about that. One is that he doesn't believe that Osama was he doesn't know that Osama was directly involved. And also, I guess later I'd like to talk about some of the motivations behind the government, why they might be interested in creating some kind of attack like this. But Chris, what do you have to say about that clip there?
Well, it's interesting. I haven't heard this clip before, but here you have, it sounds like, was it Tony Snow on Fox News?
I believe so, yes.
It sounds like him. He's asking a question about Saddam Hussein. And the context is Saddam Hussein having a meeting in Prague, I think it was, or in a European country, with Al-Qaeda operatives. But Cheney is saying Osama bin Laden, but I'm not sure that he is mixing up names there, because it seems like he's talking about Osama bin Laden, but he's talking about Iraq. So I think either maybe Cheney made a mistake and meant to say Saddam Hussein, because the question was about Saddam Hussein's involvement with 9/11, not Osama bin Laden's involvement. It was Hussein's involvement. So I think there might have been a mix-up in that.
And it's true. I mean, conspiracy theorists do tend to take bits of sound clips, and somebody makes a mistake, and they'll jump on that. Which I think they should, but it needs to be taken with a grain of salt. I'm not quite sure. I do have the full-length version of that interview, but it's too long to put on the show right now, and I guess maybe we could talk about that at another time. I'm going to be having some guests on in the future that are very serious experts, people that have written books on their opinion of what has what happened with 9/11, and perhaps they can go into that. But I just wanted to run that by you to see if you had any specific opinions about that.
I would like to interject one thing.
Sure, please.
There's a difference between the expert, or in quotes, experts that you're going to have on next week or at a future time, and me. I have absolutely zero financial interest in our interview. My interest is clearly only in discussing the truth and bringing a greater sense of truth to the world. That's it. I'm not trying to sell a book. I'm not trying to have people come to my website or friend me on Facebook or YouTube. I am only discussing this from what I think is an honest perspective.
Oh, that's good. I'm the opposite. I want people to like me on Facebook and subscribe, and then I want advertisers to buy advertising on my show. Or more advertising.
That's all good. So. It's all good, brother. I just am trying to differentiate what I'm positioning here versus what someone who might have a financial interest in it.
Sure. No, of course, and I appreciate that, and that's why I have you on the show.
Thank you, Dave.
It's funny because it was such a traumatic attack. I mean, I remember after seeing that happen, basically when the attacks happened, I was, of course, waking up late to go to work, and it was around 10:30, and I already was late, about an hour and a half. And my friend calls me from work. I saw his number on my phone, and I thought he was going to, say, "Dave, where are you, man? You're about to get fired." But instead, he was like, "Dave, did you see what happened?" I was like, "No, what happened?" He was like, "Dude, America's under attack." I was like, "What?" And I didn't understand. I just was waking up, and then all of a sudden his words like sunk in. I was like, "Oh my God, what do you mean?" He's like, "Turn on the TV. Turn on the TV." I turn on the TV and I see what's going on, and I watched TV then for probably a good 5 or 6 hours straight after that, and I went directly to the store after I got done with my watching as much news as I could take at in a time span, and bought a pack of cigarettes, and I hadn't smoked in years, and I started smoking pretty heavily there for a couple of years after that. It was that I think a lot of people went through that. It was like, screw it. Let's, we're under attack. The world has changed. The world had definitely changed at that time, and not for the better. and it was just a very traumatic thing, and I think that's why there's so many different opinions on this. There's some people that just absolutely swear that this was a government conspiracy. Everything that they see points to conspiracy, and then there's others that I think maybe like yourself do not really want to believe that there could be a conspiracy. Do you think that there, perhaps, socioeconomic or political leanings affect whether, you are a skeptic or a believer?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that again?
Yeah, I was saying that. Do you think that political leanings or socioeconomic factors, influence people's leanings towards whether they're a skeptic or whether they're a believer in conspiracy theories like this?
Absolutely. I mean, we all have our map of the world, and our map of, let's just say, our perception of the world. So my map is going to be different than your map. We could both be looking at the exact same event and see two different realities. So the question is, what is the closest reality to what happened? So if you were to try to spread this out over political ideologies, I think that pretty much most of Americans think that they buy the official story, okay? There are a subset of Americans, or I don't want to sound condescending, there are a certain group of people that don't buy the official line on anything. So there was no moon landing. JFK was assassinated by insert bad organization or person here. The Bushes are part of the Trilateral Commission, and there was a lot of collusion with the Saudis and the oil industry to do this, to start a global war. Or you can believe the official line, which is supported, I think, more by facts. Guess what? NASA did land on the moon. John F. Kennedy was actually assassinated by Lee Harvey Oswald. And while the Bushes may have issues with their collusion with the oil industry, being part of the oil industry, they also did not plan 9/11. It had nothing to do with it, except for George Bush was involved with the after effects of what our response was. And I think, honestly, that our response was good in the beginning. I think we've overplayed our hand.
Now, Chris, we're coming up on a hard break.
Okay.
And I'd like to thank some sponsors in a moment. But in the next half of the show, we're going to take about a 10-minute break here. And then in the next half hour, so stay tuned, we're going to go very deep down the rabbit hole. And we're going to discuss some things that might sound very weird to some people. But I guarantee it will be interesting radio. So stay tuned. We're going to take a break now. Chris, thank you. Just stay with us over here, and we really appreciate this. You've been a great guest so far. Stick with us for another half hour. Coming up soon.
The Unsolved Mysteries Radio Hour will be right back after this.
Are you interested in an international career? Check out www.emergingmarketcareers.com/consultations. That's emergingmarketcareers.com/consultations. On Twitter, EM_careers. emergingmarketcareers.com. Do you like to travel? Of course you do. So go to www.tinyurl.com/worldventuresnow. That's www.tinyurl.com/worldventuresnow. Newmousepads.com. That's newmousepads.com. The best specially designed mouse pads, computer hardware and software, books, and other items. Newmousepads.com. Interested in promoting your business to thousands of people? Now, what if I told you that you could do this for a mere $5? Sounds pretty interesting, right? Go to bit.ly/$5 advertising. That's www.bit.ly/$5 advertising. And bit is spelled BIT.
We're back with the Unsolved Mysteries Radio Hour. Now your host, Freedom Dave.
Welcome back, Unsolved Mysteries listeners. This is Freedom Dave, and I am here with my guest, Christopher S. Kapper II. And I promised you that we were going to delve deep into the rabbit hole on 9/11 conspiracies, and we are definitely going to go that direction. Let me thank my. Let me thank my. Everything okay there, Chris?
Sorry about that. The background noise.
No problem. I want to thank you for being on the show. I also want to thank my musical accompaniment, a great band called Love Contraband out of Fort Lauderdale, Florida, and they make some hard rockin' music, and I love their inch of music that they let me use here on the show. So Chris, now I want to talk to you now about some stuff that I think is fascinating, but you might think is completely ridiculous. But to me, some of the theories that seem to make the most sense are the weirdest ones. And first I want to play something for you that I think is just one of the weirdest things I've ever heard. And I'm pretty sure you're going to say this is just a coincidence. But to me, I don't see how a coincidence could be this uncanny and be this creepy. And what I'm going to play for you, and you'll think this is interesting, because when you saw George Bush, you mentioned that you saw George Bush passing through and going to, I guess, the elementary school that he was going to right before the first plane hit. This is a clip from the kids that were at the elementary school, and listen to the words that they were saying, okay? Because this is very weird, and I don't see how this can just be a coincidence, okay?
Okay, thank you. Go ahead.
Here we go. Hold on. It should be coming up in a minute.
Get ready to read all these words on this page without making a mistake. Look at the letter at the end and remember the sound it makes. Get ready. Kite. Yes, kite. Get ready to read this word the fast way. Get ready. Kid. Yes, kid. Sound it out. Get ready. Kid. Sound it out. Get ready. Kid. What word? Kid. Yes, kid. Boys and girls, sound this word out. Get ready. Steel. What word? Steel. Yes, steel. Read these words the fast way. Get ready. Play. Yes, playing. Get ready. Must. Yes, must. Let's read these words the fast way without making a mistake. Get ready. Kite. Yes, kite. Get ready. Kit. Yes, kit. Get ready. Steel. Yes, steel. Get ready. Play. Yes, playing. Get ready. Must. Yes, must. Go to your speaker reader up from under your seat. Open your book up to lesson 60 on page 153.
Okay, Chris, that is the infamous My Pet Goat reading lesson. And the next thing that happens is that Bush's I forgot who told him, but his assistant or one of the people that were with him told him that the planes just went into the buildings and America's under attack. That's the official story. Now, tell me though, you have to admit that the words that they're saying directly before these planes hit steel, it's the strangest coincidence, don't you think?
Well, it's interesting. They didn't just say that. They said kite,
Yes.
hit, steel, plane, must. There's
Yes.
5 words.
Yes.
Hit, steel, and plane, I think, are the 3 words that you're alluding to are interesting, right?
Yes.
Okay. Well, guess what? Is it interesting? Yeah, it's as interesting as when I see a rainbow or something else. I don't think that there's a conspiracy behind it. because if we were to say there's a conspiracy behind this, that means that we would have to say that a probably Democratic teacher, registered Democrat teacher, African American lady, teaching in a very low income area of Sarasota, I know because I know the area, was involved with the conspiracy and was somehow chose this book to make her children say these particular words. And why would she choose this? And in a previous broadcast, you kind of alluded, I think, and please correct me if I'm wrong, you alluded to that there might be some ritualistic aspect of this?
Yes, a Masonic ritual.
Okay, so, and you talked about the kids bowing down when they brought their books up and things like that.
They bow twice to the king. Yes, they bow twice to the king.
Okay, so now we have to say, now there's this global conspiracy that's mixing up people in the mountains of Afghanistan, to the Saudi princes, to the power brokers in Washington, D.C., and the oil barons in Texas. And that happens to just include a lady who is African American who makes about $40,000 a year, including benefits, and she's incorporating these ritualistic Masonic, which, I don't know how many 35-year-old black ladies are in Masonic rituals, but probably not a lot, based on all the Masonic people I know, are all older white guys. But she's somehow involved with this. And as interesting as the 3 out of those 5 words she said are, I just can't buy it that she's involved, man. It's kind of crazy.
But the choice of words is so odd for a reading lesson, and just the timing of it is uncanny, and it's extremely creepy. You got to admit it's a little creepy. It's not normal. I mean, plane, must, kite, hit, steal, plane, must, and 2 seconds later, planes must hit, steal into the World Trade Center, some of the biggest steel towers in the world.
Well, it doesn't say
like
plane must hit steel. It says kite,
that'd be
hit,
too obvious.
steal, plane, must. But just to go back to this, is it odd? Yeah, but you know what? I bet you if we went into the reading lesson for that book that they were reading, I bet you those words were printed out. And I think this was done in 94 or 95, where the pet goat was actually first pinned by a guy who's done about thousands of these things. And this is 2nd grade reading material. My daughter just graduated 3rd grade with straight A's, and I'll tell you that these were probably the types of words that she was reading last year. I don't see anything out of the ordinary, except that there is an interesting connection.
See spot run. Jane jumped over the river. But to have those choice of words,
Jane can jump far.
The river, exactly. I don't know. I mean, I know it doesn't prove anything. It's very hard to prove these things, of course. But these coincidences add up. And, when you look at the course of how the world is going, you have to admit there's quite a bit of evil in the world. Don't you agree, Chris?
Is there quite a bit of... There are definitely things that are evil that happen. I mean, I would say what happened just 2 nights ago, where you have a gunman going into a movie theater and killing a 6-year-old boy and 11 other people, and shooting and wounding 60 other people. That is evil. And I don't know how to explain that, but I don't think that there's a conspiracy. I think that really something really horrible happened that night, and what can we do to fix it? I don't know.
Why did they attack us? Did they attack America? Did Al-Qaeda attack America because they hate our freedom? Do you honestly believe that?
I honestly believe that Al-Qaeda hates our freedom, but I don't know if you're asking me that in regards to the Batman shooting incident.
No.
Okay.
No, I'm actually just backtracking onto Al-Qaeda.
Right.
Nothing to do with the Batman shooting incident. That's for another show. There's very strange coincidences around a lot of mass shootings in the United States and the numerology behind it. But that's definitely for another show.
Okay.
But what's odd about the towers also, and this is delving very deep into the rabbit hole, is that You know,
Let's go.
some of like the Masonic symbolry